Hello. How are we doing? Good to see you all. Thanks for joining us on the Off-Grid live stream. Let me just change this text. Starting now. Yeah. Hi. This is the Off-Grid live stream, dev stream. This is the first time streaming onto Steam Broadcast, so bear with me. Hopefully folk in the Steam community are able to see. It looks like it's online to me, but if you're in the Discord for Off-Grid and trying to watch it on Steam Broadcast and you can't see anything, then do ping me and let me know. It should hopefully be showing up on the store too, but I'm not certain of that. So if you're new to Off-Grid, if you're stumbling upon this, then Off-Grid is a stealth hacking game about data privacy. It's essentially a game where data is your most powerful weapon. So instead of conventional kind of collect weapons, stealth through the level, snipe a couple people, knock a few people off around the corners, actually in Off-Grid the thing that you do is you collect apps and hacking tools and the data of your adversaries, and you use those to manipulate the AI behavior, try and socially engineer them off their path, embarrass them out of the way, and generally wreak havoc with all of the IoT devices in the world around you. So how does that pan out? Well, I guess the easiest thing to do is see if we can show you a little bit of Off-Grid. So what I usually do with these live streams, if you're if you're new to it, is I tend to show people a bit of how we make Off-Grid. So Off-Grid is an intriguing hacking game from the perspective of you can hack it. It's been made from the ground up to be moddable. We want people making their own hacking tools, their own levels and stories, their own hackable devices in the game, and sharing them on Steam Workshop or on ModDB, however you like. We want people to talk about contemporary issues, contemporary research within the InfoSec realm, whether that's the latest bug or the most recent political foray in the hacking world. We think that Off-Grid can be an interesting platform for people to learn about and explore information security and hacker culture. So without further ado, let's see about showing you a little bit of Off-Grid. So let me pull some stuff up. Let's transition over. So this is my level kit build or of the Unity project. We make Off-Grid in Unity, and the interesting thing that we've done is we have essentially made this entire developer toolset available to players. So you can make your own levels. You can make your own hackable devices. All the other things that I'd sort of started to talk about. Within the personal edition of Unity, with the tool set of ours that you can download called Level Kit, and you download that through Steam Tools. Might be worth me actually showing the process, seeing as this is our inaugural Steam broadcast. So let me just switch over. So essentially what I'm doing here is I'm just going to log in to my account. That I have a copy of the Off-Grid. Oh, got to remember the right password first. No, I've got to remember the right username first. So if you've been following us for a little while, you'll be aware that we actually ran a Kickstarter end of last year. And in that Kickstarter, you could back at a level that got you first access to Off-Grid. So first access for us it's like a small kind of, well, we avoided using the word alpha or beta because in our studio we almost all had a fight over what alpha and beta mean anymore. Steve, with his old head from AAA, had very specific idea of it. Pontus was of the view that because games are now seen as software as a service, and you're constantly going to be releasing updates, can you ever truly say a game has gotten out of beta, even once it's been released? So we had a big hoo-ha about that, and we eventually came to the conclusion that actually maybe it's best not to use the terms. So we've come up with first access. With first access, that gives you the ability to jump in and see builds as we're going, but also get hold of the modding tools. So what I was sort of starting to talk about is the fact that in your Steam library, when you have a copy of Off-Grid, you have this tools menu. So if you hit tools, if you were to have a copy of Off-Grid, or if you're one of our backers at that level from the Kickstarter, and there'll be opportunities. If you join our Discord, there will be opportunities to get into the first access post Kickstarter and help us explore the modding tools and such alike. So join the Discord. There are invites for it all over the place. Your easiest bet is probably to go to www.offgridthegame.com, and there'll be a button, I think, on our main website that takes you there. Can you play, please, Tokyo 42? Yes, Best Man has just said hello. You could get a key at some point as a beta tester, as a first access tester, if you'd like. Join the Discord, as I just said. Join the Discord at www.offgridthegame.com, and there'll be a link to our Discord there. And if you're interested in modding, basically your next question is perfect. Is there Steam Workshop? Yes. The thing that we're doing here is actually looking at the stuff that integrates into Steam Workshop. So if you had a copy of Off-Grid, which hopefully you will do at some point, you will get a copy of, in the tools section, a copy of this thing we call Level Kit. So that just runs to this Unity project, which has all of the developer tools that we use, and you essentially get a little. I will make this window smaller so that's the right size for you to see everything actually. Essentially you have a set of tools that we've made that allow you to create a new level, test the validation of it for whether you've built your light maps and whether it has the correct game objects, and we'll go through all this kind of stuff as I continue on with the stream. But there's this networking thing for connecting and testing your mod, and during one of the settings here, on the Steam build, which I'm not using. Oh, that's going to be interesting as to whether this works with the Steam build, because I've switched it to DRM-free. There is usually a button here that uploads your mod directly to Steam Workshop, basically. I'll show you a little bit of Off-Grid, I guess, in case you haven't come across it before. So let's pull up Steam. And we can play Tokyo 42 another time. I haven't actually gotten very far in it. Beautiful game, like absolutely lush environments. Sound on it is amazing, but yeah, I haven't gotten around to playing very much of it. So I'm just going to turn some of the sound down here, because this should be launching the game sound. So, Off-Grid. Off-Grid is a stealth hacking game. Don't know, best man, whether this is the first time you've seen Off-Grid and you stumbled across it, or whether you've been following us for a while. But I'm just going to show any of the viewers who might be watching this on other channels, or wanting to watch it on a replay, a little bit of the main game. Might take a moment to load first time, sometimes it does. So we're in a kind of a fairly pre-release stage with Off-Grid. As I said, we're in this first access stage where we have about 125, 130 backers who backed at a level that gets them this kind of first access level, and they get to help us with building the modding tools and give us feedback on a lot of the mechanics, which is exciting. So Best Man has just said, love when you started talking other game when this is the main live stream about Off-Grid. I've got to talk about other games. Tokyo 42 is great because it's got that cyberpunk kind of feel to it. And one of the things that I want to do with this Off-Grid stream actually is get some of my fairly well-known hacker mates into play and assess hacker games with us. I'm going to have to restart this. I can hear the menu in the background. It's not a good start, is it? Task Manager. Kill Off-Grid. Right. Try this again. Oh, it's because it's trying to update Off-Grid in the middle of it. Okay. Well, the next best thing I can do is pray that the latest build that we've been working on. Hang on. Is it going to try? Well, let's try here again. Otherwise, we'll go straight into the dev build. I might even check whether that's working in the background here while... oh, well, it will be, yeah. So... So, one of the nice things that we've got going on is we've got a modding competition that people are in the middle of, making some of the first mods to go into Off-Grid and putting them on Workshop, and that comes with some Off-Grid swag. I think we've got an Off-Grid hoodie or two that hopefully will be the right sizes for people who upload the most interesting mod this month. That runs until the 31st of January, but don't worry if you're not yet part of our kind of first access cohort. There are going to be opportunities in the future and lots more interesting prizes as we go. So yeah. Do you know Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon? He played Tokyo 42 a year ago. No, I don't think I do know Yippee-ki-yay, Mr. Falcon. He's a streamer, I assume. Does he stream a lot of kind of cyberpunky stuff? Because if he does, that might be someone that would be worth me getting to know about. See whether he's interested in Off-Grid, maybe. So basically, Off-Grid, the setup for it is you play as this technophobe dad, who is kind of a bit of a noob. He's got no real idea about about hacking or any of the kind of themes within the game. But essentially, his daughter has gone missing after being bundled away over breakfast by the security services, and it turns out she's a hacktivist and might have been up to some shenanigans. It's up to you to learn how to hack to work out what's going on. YouTuber, he had one shot. What do you mean by he had one shot, best man? You mean he had one shot as in he's only ever done a couple of things on games? So basically you have a load of hacking you get given by this anonymous kind of disguised voiced hacker who wants to help you work out what's gone on. And one of the main things that he gives you is this kind of data view, ability to map networks in kind of AR through your glasses. You've got a pair of smart glasses that you got given just before your daughter gets bundled away, and essentially he gives you a load of hacking tools that essentially are like our hacking tools. So those include being able to SSH into IoT devices, being able to visualize networks, collect and delete data, all kinds of fun stuff along those lines.
Getting detained at the airport, took his eyes on terrorism.
As we go through these levels, you start to see more and more data belonging to the guards, and we get to manipulate this stuff. I'll show you a quick hack. So the sort of thing that you want to do is try and collect as much data on the guards as possible to work out what their habits are, where they might be, and hack as many IoT devices as possible to be able to manipulate them. So if we turn the SSH app on, that allows us to then target this hand dryer, and the hand dryer is on the 4G network because it sent us this stupid text message about the bathroom being powered by Drytech. Like us and share on Facebook. So that means it's on the 4G network. It means we can attempt to hack it, and like all stupid IoT devices, it's essentially got default credentials, admin. So that gets us into the back end of it. The game is a bit laggy. It might be more my stream actually, because I was just thinking the game plays quite smoothly for this build. But I am on very rural broadband, so you might find that it's slightly laggy looking, more because of my out in the countryside internet connection. But yeah, it's like you say, it's in development. You will see buggy, potentially laggy builds at times on off-grid. So, like for instance here, we hit download user logs, and that actually downloads all of the users of the smart hand dryer in this bathroom. It gives us their MAC address for their devices and their names and their hygiene scores, which is kind of disgusting. And then we've got system information here. We've got continuous test mode. Warning, enabling continuous test mode will generate high temperatures. Make sure there's enough ventilation to avoid overheating. So what that does is it starts affecting the thermostat in the room. The temperature in the room is going up, and like all true stealth games, there's a classic trope in that you have to get through the air vent. So squeeze through here, and from here on out, essentially, we're attempting to get through this level. Oh, there's some broken colliders on this that make it difficult. We're attempting to get through this level by basically manipulating and reading the data on these AI at different times. So we turn data util on, we can start reading some of these messages that are left behind. Hey David McDippy, why the nuts haven't you replied to my email? Love, Marcus. So that's a basic intro to Off-Grid. Where can you find the Discord? Let me just post you a link quickly. Tab out of that. Here you go. This should appear in all the chats. Let me know if that pop up. It doesn't look like it did. No, this restream thing doesn't like me posting links. You're in the YouTube room, aren't you? I'll just jump on there. Restream thing doesn't like me posting links. Here we go. That should get you. Cool. That's the basics of off-grid. Just hidden everything, haven't I? So the next cool thing is what you best man you were asking about just there is Steam Workshop support. So off-grid's been built with modding in mind, and we basically have made our developer toolset available to everyone. Let me just see the chat window. So the way that works is this sort of this little level kit window. Now, obviously, like I'd have to go into a bit more detail. If you want to read more of the detail up, you can go to our wiki, which is wiki.offgridthegame.com, and that gives you a whole set of guides on how the level kit works, how you set it up, all that kind of stuff. But essentially, the kind of top down of it is by getting hold of the tools, you get this Unity project. You launch it in Unity, and then it will open up this off-grid menu that we've created with level kit tool, and that's here. If I hit networking, you saw that we launched this version of the game from Steam. Essentially, I hit search for game, and it's found search for game. Oh, this is how it works. It's me forgetting how it works. And now that I'm connected to Steam, I can actually upload this mod to Steam Workshop with this update mod on Steam Workshop, read terms of service, all that kind of stuff. So if I do that and then I hit start, I can test the mod that I've been building, and I can't remember whether it's in a working state or not, but we'll see in a moment. Essentially, what we have in Unity there is being pushed directly to the game in Steam that we've launched as essentially as a patch. It uses the same kind of technology as the way that patches work on most games. I think we might have this funny crash again though, so I might have to launch and relaunch. It does seem to happen, unfortunately, with there you go. Oh yeah, it doesn't like it from the main game. There you go. Not quite sure why it did that way, but this is the level that I've been building. So literally we've jumped from and actually well, you won't be able to see it here in my dev side of things. You'd be able to see it, but that's where we are. It's just spawned us here, and we're able to play this test level. So let's have a little look at it. Yep. The audio is all wrong in this currently for some reason, but it's work in progress, so that's okay. So, I think it's playing some stuff on the wrong side. Let me just try something again. Hit stop. That should stop it. Hit start. Yeah, that's looking like it's doing the right thing. Yeah. So we'll start by turning that off.
Hello, is anybody there?
Yeah, that gives us the right key card. You'll notice some funny stuff. One of the first things that we'll have is that AI has got some hard-coded audio cues in it for anything with a guarding component, and so you're going to see, and bear in mind this is all temp geometry, it's not going to look quite as blocky or quite as white boxed as this, but you... doing? You're not even attempting to come in. Let's have a look. Should be able to get this secretary AI to go back to doing control root stuff. No. Oh. Yeah. No. Might change something on the AI. She just wants to be at the desk. Anyway, that's you know, this is an in progress level, but that shows you how, if this was your mod, technically it's my mod because I'm using this level kit toolset to make it. That's how you test it, and then when it's done, you just hit update mod on workshop or upload mod to workshop, and hey presto, that's then, I mean, hopefully what you do is make it available to public so that people can play it, and that's that. And you know, one of the things that we're doing now is modding competitions. We're going to look to partner up with some hacking tools providers who make interesting hardware for shenanigans. We're going to look to partner up with indie friends who make interesting games and have bundles of keys to give away for interesting games that friends are making. And we're also going to give away off-grid swag, and maybe even the odd kind of partnership with, who knows, some kind of gaming hardware providers. You might be able to win a gaming laptop or a graphics card or something along those lines by entering into the roughly monthly-ish modding streams, so modding competitions. So yeah, that's the basics around all that stuff. So, love the animation of the keycard. Yeah, a lot of it is kind of semi-procedurally driven, the animation. So you get some pretty funky stuff where he kind of winds around or this, that, and the other. But we think it's kind of fun. He's meant to be a kind of goofy character. So yeah. Right. So I guess the thing I was going to do really was talk a bit more about some of the detail of modding, because well, actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to close this in the background. I guess this is the music that we want in the background. I'm going to turn it down in my ears. I hope the audio is alright for those watching at home, but let me know if it's too loud or whatever else. So the kind of thing that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to write a mission script and some specific components in the mission script. So this level I'm currently drafting out, I've got little modals popping up and some audio cues, and I want to have conversations that that the hacker that's teaching you sort of provides to teach you how to do a few different bits and bobs. So yeah, that's what we're going to go through. I actually need to look up some of my script stuff for that. So let's do that. believe I've gotten the stream working on Steam broadcast, but I'll be damned if I can get it to actually play on the main storefront at the minute. So, what I'm going to do is pull up a guide that I've been basically writing the level outlines in sort of in script form. So, but it contains the objectives that I'm going to write. So I use it as a guide. Just got to remember what it's called. Nearly. There we go. So once I get that up, I can have a bit of a think. But essentially, all of the mission logic for off-grid is written in Lua. Best man saying, "Now I need to go by. Hope you're gonna sometime play Tokyo 42." Smiley face. Thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Do swing by again. I'm sure we will play Tokyo 42 at some point. I think there's some hacking in it. We'll have to get to the hacking scenes and play it with some of the LulSec boys. So, where am I at? I'm basically going to pull up Atom, which is the IDE that we recommend people use. That's on the wrong project, but if I actually open level kit apps, no level kit. Seems to have dropped off of there. That's weird. No, that's definitely in the main line. This is the mission script for the newspaper office level that we did. So yeah, you can see it's a hefty piece of code, but actually it's largely generated for you in our template, and a lot of this is copying and pasting what are called Lua tables. So a character table here, you might copy and paste a few times and change some of the information. But you're not going to be writing this all out from scratch each time. So yeah, right. Let me go open a different folder. That's what we want. Right. We're in the workplace. That's what we're opening up. So the thing that I've been working on. Probably close this in a bit so you can see some more interesting stuff behind. Oh, pardon me. I need to stop yawning. So. First thing we're going to do is we're going to disable some of the apps because in this is one of the introductory levels. I actually want the operating system for the player character to kind of only be half available or almost kind of non-existent. I want just kind of crappy apps instead of hacking tools. So we're gonna comment this stuff back in, and that's us calling apps request app state clock app state unavailable. And you might think, oh well, that's just jargon to me. Well, the way that you would learn how to do some of this stuff. Tomorrow's Friday, so live stream tomorrow. I've got a family on. I've got date night Friday night. I've got a movie to watch. Come back next Thursday and I'll play a bit of Tokyo 42. If you drop in at some point during the stream, say hello. We'll play a bit of Tokyo 42. Sounds good to me. And that's the point. We stream weekly, so like you come back this time next Thursday, you'll find us here. So what am I going to talk about here? I'm going to talk about the fact that we have a wiki with the API for all this stuff, and that is wiki.offgridthegame.com. So essentially what you would do is you'd go to that address along here and you'd be like, oh, I want to work out how to do some stuff with the apps. I want to turn the apps off. And you go to Lure API and click on the apps Lure API. And it's like any other API. It gives you essentially the calls that you need for manipulating different bits and bobs. So in this instance, apps request app state, app name, new state. So apps request app state, and then the name of the app state unavailable. And that's what we're calling in there. So when you're messing about with code and mods, one of the most important things to do is do things one at a time. I got myself in a tangle just the other day by not doing things one at a time, and I sent me, Pontus and Steve on a bit of a wild goose chase to find that I had just forgotten to uncomment out a line for connecting the hackable doors. So yeah, that was my bad. So what we'll do is we'll hit start here. That then loads the mod into the game, and now you can see in the bottom bottom left hand corner, there are no apps. Now I can break it currently and get the apps to turn back up, but that gives you an impression of how, you know, one line in the Lure API can get something going. So we've turned those apps off. What's the next thing we want to do? Well, I've started to write an objective that turns a bunch. Pardon me. Wow. Turns a bunch of interesting apps on for you. So that is this objective here, shown by Smedley, and this has a load of stuff in it. If you're at home modding along and wanting to do some interesting stuff, there's a couple of things here that you can do. You can use Sound API, although I haven't published a list of the sounds available to you yet because they're not finalised. But you know, if you're watching along here, you can probably copy a few of these down, and you'll find actually one of the things that you can do is look in the streaming assets folder of the game and look at some of the other mission scripts and look for the sound calls that are in the game there already, because those sound calls exist and you can borrow them. I'll get a list of sounds up for you guys to play with. But you can also we sort of talked about setting up mission objects last week. I'll give you a quick recap on that. A mission object is anything with this mission object script attached to it. And in Off-Grid that means things that you can use to spawn new characters, things that you can use to create trigger volumes, and that's what we're going to look at here. Essentially, that is a trigger with a mission object on it. This is another one. That's a box with a mission object, set to trigger, and a collider. And then we just take the name of it, trigger shown by Smedley. Pardon me. I'm gonna have to stop doing this. For me, late night is 10 o'clock because I've got a small child. So you might find on these kind of evening streams you have to bear with me. Do a little bit of yawn every now and then. So we've created our. I'm going to turn this music down. It's loud in my ears. I don't know about for you guys. This mission object called trigger shown by Smedley, then if you create something called mission objects and pass a string trigger, the string here trigger shown by Smedley, but for you whatever you've named your game object, on trigger enter function, it launches a function that then you can put conditions on. So for instance in this, if name equals player get name, then pop up this modal. So essentially that's just a check to make sure that it's the player that's walked into your trigger rather than, let's say, an AI or well, that'd be what it is, it's either the player or an AI. And it's going to set up this modal, and so writing modals is interesting. There's kind of a couple of examples on the wiki for modals. Let's have a look actually. It may not be. But there are examples of modals through the levels that you get in streaming assets, so you can always dig into them there. I do wonder, I mean, character profiles, conversations, yeah, I don't know. There's nothing under M for modals. Message templates. No, that's deprecated stuff. Oh no, that's generated. Yeah. We'll have to see. But, like I say, you can find in streaming assets how to do these modals. That will pop up a window that describes something for your player, whether you want to teach them something, or whether you want to show them a button or give them an instruction. You can do it with these modals. So this one's called Hacking Device. It says, hello, hey Joe, want to give it a go? Uh-oh. Yeah, Destiny's Child lyrics. You can tell I was clutching at straws here for a moment. And you can put an image in if you wanted to, and that's just, you can either give it a path, or if you just give it the name of the image, it will look in that content folder's root. And the text on the button, confirm text. And then UI.showModal message, and you pass it the name of this modal, the name of the table for this modal, and that will basically, as you walk through a trigger, show this thing up. For us, it then plays some sound events, and I've got a load of different stuff. Oh yeah, I've got a bunch of triggers and functions. So then the next thing that we're using is the scheduler API, and that is definitely worth you modders having a little bit of a look at. So if we again head over to the Lure API, and this is going to be a little bit of a, rather than me focusing on one specific part of the level, I'm going to show you a few different areas of it. Of the things that you can do with your mission scripts. Hopefully that gives some beauty that are working on once some inspiration. But the scheduler is really useful. You can call in seconds in world, which are the seconds that occur on the in-game clock on on your player character's mobile phone, and that's about 3 times real time. You can call in real time, and you can call in scale time, which is kind of the same thing as real time, apart from if the game is paused or things along those lines. So if you want something to pause being called if the player goes into one of the menus to search through stuff, then you use call in sex. If you want it to continue to occur, you use call in sex real, and then if someone has opened a menu window, it will continue to count out, and it means you can launch stuff from within the menu, potentially. Certainly sounds, depends on whether there's a conflict with the UI if you're doing a mobile or something like that. Anyway, that stuff's really useful, and it's a function that you basically put in scheduler and the override call in sex, and then function, which is the name of the function that you want it. What do you want it to do in some amount of time? And you'll have written a function called "this is what I want you to do," and time in sex is just an int or a number actually, so it probably can be a float as well. And then that will launch this function in that amount of time. Sorry. So we're doing this several times here, and we're doing it several times because I have a load of audio lines that I want to pass in for the intro, to get the player kind of the scene set for him, but also to communicate what you need to do ahead of when you've got the right apps installed. So trigger placeholder learn inventory. Yeah, so I started to go through. Yeah, I've made a new modal. I think we can safely assume you're above. Grab the package off your chair. We're going to flash your devices. Smedley guides you through, and actually Smedley guides you through using the SD card in his inventory. We're actually going to root the device, not flash it. So let's write root. Yeah. So hit save, and we'll go and have a look at what goes on there. I guess one of the things we might want to do is, instead of spawning at the beginning of the level, we might want to spawn a bit further up, because we don't want to have to run around, especially not with this sort of temp geometry that doesn't really have anything particularly interesting on it yet. So we want to be up here to test this stuff, and guess what? Here's what I made earlier, Joe's office spawn. So if we go into the mission script, which is workplace_mission, and when you make your own mod, it will generate your own mission script for you. We go to characters, and we go to spawn point, player spawn, and we'll just paste in Joe's office spawn, save that. So we'll hit stop, hit start, and that drops us here. Perfect. So next up, you might be able to hear there's some muffled noise for what's being said. Don't really know why.
You can sit at home and do like absolutely nothing.
Something weird is
like 17 computers a day. 1984. Yeah, right, man. That's a typo. All well is here now. Please. FYI. Alright, man. I've got you in your
it's because data view is on, so it all sounds fuzzy.
Which means that others have probably set up stuff in here too.
So, basically,
Jan! I've sorted this out!
that gives us, that gets us to here. I think we can safely assume you're bugged. Grab the package off a chair. We're going to root your devices. And you know, I'm currently using these modals as placeholders for conversations or bits of audio that I don't have yet. You know, like that really can come in as an audio line when I get it recorded. Smedley guides Joe through using an SD card. For now, this is done with a placeholder laptop in the room. So we've got another trigger, a mission object here that by interacting with, it'll add something to your inventory. So we grab that. That says connect your phone to this machine. We're going to flash it. We're going to root it. We've got this hidden package that essentially allows us to access this laptop. We interact with the laptop, and it starts installing some new apps for us, or it should do. I think I've only set it up to add one app currently, and that's a cheating app. So the next thing we need to do is go into this objective and get it to add the correct apps. So it's added the ghost app for us. Help, weather and clock are still there for some reason. And I'm gonna have to work out how to turn that off because you're not meant to have that tool yet. But there you go. That's the basics of how we'd end up with the right tools installed. So the next thing I want is to set up him sending you a message that says we're going to install Cryptchat, the messaging app, so that I can chat to you. So yeah, let's do that in this next trigger volume. So we head back to the game. We head back to the mission script. And I had made a temporary trigger placeholder learn inventory. That's happening. Joe computer, reception computer. I need ferrets coffee. But we did have o-snaps objective somewhere that we can repurpose. So mod test trigger. Yeah. o-snap objective. So, in the o-snap objective, well, what we're going to do is we're going to find and replace that because we're going to actually turn that into the install Cryptchat objective. So, Control F, and that'll find all instances, and we will replace that with install Cryptchat. Objective. So, and what we just do is we hit replace, and it will replace it in all the important places. Don't actually want that objective to be started at this point in the first point of the level, so we can take that out, but we do want it to be started in probably by ending the trigger shown by Smedley. Oh, and that's in a game object, isn't it? Yeah, we'll probably move that all into an object of its own. Mission complete objective, chat to Smedley. It all needs adding into chat to Smedley. So let's go and find chat to Smedley next. Test trigger Oh, that's a mission object still. We've got to go and find the objectives. Yes. Chat to Smedley. Someone's messaging us Discord. I'll be with you in just a second. I have to remember this, otherwise what will happen is I'll completely forget. Flash phone. Oh really? Chat to Smedley's completed it. That needs messing about with. Yeah, so after flashing phone, we want to go here, and instead of distract secretary, we want to start our install Cryptchat objective. So let's see what's being said. What we saying? What we saying? It's me, Mighty Cowboy 123. Cool. That's you in Discord? I should be seeing the Discord messages pop up in this thing as well, though. I don't know. Let's have a look. Hack the planet. Oh my god. Right, I guess you just added everyone. Yes, I will. I'll remove that. Need to have what at red, not everyone at red, not orange. Yeah, all right. Well, thank you for pointing that out. Good to have you around. Right. Just bear with me. I can't even remember where that is. This will remind me of the server settings. How do you set the at everyone stuff? Where is the setting? Yeah, Mighty Cowboy, you're doing a pretty good job of trolling my live stream. It's all in the hacker ethic. I can appreciate it. It's everyone permissions. Server settings. I'm not sure I even have that. Must be in roles. Ah, it's in roles. So. Everyone. I think that might have fixed it. We'll see. What is vulnerabilities? What is news crew? Well, vulnerabilities. Yeah, that's quite funny. So the people in the Discord aren't obviously watching the stream. Oh, really? Well, thanks for coming by. I'm sure school's alright. I'm sure you can learn something interesting. There's got to be some networks you could poke at or something. Right. Well. This restream has come off the rails. I'll be back with you in a minute. I'm just fixing some Discord stuff. Discord. Oh, come on. I'm supposed to be streaming here, and everyone in Discord is making me laugh. Right. So, I think I fixed the everyone thing on the Discord, but I don't know for sure. It looks like it didn't ping the second time that that you did that, Mighty Cowboy. Right, must return to live stream. So, so based on that minor interruption, I'm going to get back to talking us through how to use the scheduler and how to set up objectives. So, where was I? Yep, see you later, Mighty Cowboy. Thanks for swinging by. Good luck at school. Oh, I've got to get back on track. Best live stream ever. Yeah, because you've been like a huge part of it. The internet. Right, so what I am now doing is setting up the next objective to download the Cryptchat app. Or, well, it's not technically an app in the game, but it's going to install it for the player. For installing that as part of an objective, we need to find that objective. So we've done Flash Phone. The next one in order is Distract Secretary, but we're actually going to shift things around. We're going to move the OSNAP objective down to there, which is up the top somewhere. Oh, install Cryptchat objective. Start on completed. That should be the whole thing there. Yep. We're going to cut this just to get things a little bit neater, because this has been a little bit kind of messed about with in terms of me making little mod adjustments and doing the live stream. So now we're going to drop that in here between Distract Secretary and the name of that is now, oh right, so this is showing a modal, active false, no, that's the name of it, right. So the name of it can just be Learn to Use Cryptchat. Description. Have a conversation in Cryptchat. And I mean, this stuff might seem a little inane, but actually the reason that we're doing this is it's all part of the objective system, which shows up in your task list that you present to the player. So you want to describe this stuff in useful terms so that players can be directed, and if they choose to review their tasks, they know what you're aiming to get them to do. So have a conversation, Smedley. This one's a little silly, but I have a hard time being creative while live streaming on the fly and thinking about this, that and the other. Keeping my eye on the Discord. It's quite funny. If you're not in the Discord, please do join our Discord. It is it's full of some characters. You can do that by going to www.offgridthegame.com and clicking on the Discord icon at the top. Or I think there's probably some invites in some of the channels. But let me just grab an invite and ping it into the Twitch channel for folks. This always takes way longer than we think. Invite people. Copy. That's the Discord. I think it's not letting me put flipping links in. I have to go to Twitch itself. This restream thing is brilliant, apart from the chat thing doesn't seem to like you posting links in the chat, which when you're the dev or the streamer is actually quite important, believe it or not. So that's there to my fellow Twitchers. Right, back to business. It's not active by default. It is visible. That means it's invisible in the task list. It's not completed. And hints. So you might want to show a hint if the player does something in particular during this objective. So it might be. I mean, this is a short objective that really doesn't have many places for you to go wrong. But if you were sending the player to a particular room and you knew if they got onto the next floor, for instance, that they were going wrong, you might have a hint that you say go back to the first floor now. And then you have this call here, mission, send hint, mission.objectives, install Cryptchat objective, and it will, on the start of that, it'll send that objective. But if it was, it send that hint. But if it was that you wanted a certain trigger volume to set off if they went to the wrong floor, it would send the hint then. That's how that yeah, basically. So the next thing that we do in this install Cryptchat objective is actually trigger a conversation, and so that is the other element of this stream that I wanted to show people, which should be kind of fun actually. I think we'll do some install-y stuff. We'll pull up some notification flashy screen stuff that makes it look like something's being installed, and then we'll have it call a conversation up after that. So in the previous objective we did something along these lines with the UI down in the mission object. So, there's all the voice stuff. Oh, let me try to remember now. Further up. If that's on start, then that's flash phone, sets things to unavailable. Then yeah, okay, UI, show UI pop up compiling black iOS. So let's just copy one of these quickly. Again, you go, oh, I want to do something interesting with UI, or I've been playing off-grid, and there's this thing where if you're downloading a file, it shows you a little downloading notification. So you go, oh well, I want to do that. How do I do it? Well, the answer again is you go onto the wiki, onto the modding section of the wiki, and you click on Lua API, and in this instance we're going to go to the UI Lua API. And it tells you what calls you have available for throwing up different UI menu window bits and pieces. So, for instance, we're going to put in, tells you what our options are. We want to show pop-ups or notifications, probably notifications, and it's UI.showNotification, type header message and the timeout. So in this instance, UI.show pop-up, and this is something that we're about to change because the type it's an enum that's actually only displayed by number at the moment, and we can pass it by string, so that's something that will change. But I for a fact know that showing a pop-up called 4 gives us one of those progress bars that you see, so we'll pull that out and we'll copy it over to our other objective. So on start of that objective. Yeah, oh, we're going to trigger this somewhere else, aren't we? Yeah, I think so. We're going to say, instead of compiling black iOS, we're going to say installing Cryptchat. And maybe before that, for a little extra bit of visual cue, we'll put the down. So yeah, we've got the kind of system progress bar thing, but we can also put in a little notification instead of a pop-up. So instead of pop-up, UI show notification. I think it's 3 for download on that one. The header is gonna say downloads, maybe. The message is gonna be downloading Cryptchat. Timeout. I think that's optional, but let's just give it 3 seconds. We don't need this hint. We'll just comment this hint out because we don't need to show it. Although, well, no, I suppose we can show it. We should show it. What we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this install Cryptchat objective. I've actually got it in here. We don't want it. We don't want it in at all. This is in the on-complete section. If I put it in the on-complete section of the other objective, then you're literally going to have reams and reams of this stuff, and we actually want the player to walk around a little bit and enjoy themselves for a few brief seconds before we pile on any more kind of tutorialization. So what we're actually going to do is drop down to this thing called mod test trigger, and we're going to rename that because actually it's not meant to be a mod test trigger. It's meant to be it completes that objective, does it? Maybe we just want to start that. Oh no, we can leave it on complete for that. I'll just move the behavior into uncompleted. Yeah, let's do that. But we're going to change the name mod test trigger. We're going to call that install Cryptchat trigger. Replace. Really? There wasn't another thing called mod test trigger? Oh, yeah, it's just the name of the actual object. So yes, we head back to Unity. And we go and find that mission object, which is here. And we change that from mod test trigger to install Cryptchat trigger. We go over to build, we hit change detected, let it build them. Right, so sorry for the pause there, I was just having a look to see whether there's anything crazy going on in the Discord still. I think it's all settled down. Here we go. That's now finished. Rebuilding the asset bundles there for that was a small change. You know, you might make some major changes and it will take the same amount of time, so it's worth making changes to your level in maybe more significance than just changing over a trigger or the name of an object, because it does take a moment to build. Yeah, that's now successful, or the correct thing. We're going to go and find install Cryptchat objective. Complete. That's a trigger. Install Cryptchat objective. So we're probably fine having on start having that hint come up, which can be, I don't know, test Cryptchat hint. Just because we'll show you what's what on that. Ooh. Moving temp, unit stream 3D to cancel. Don't know what that's about. But we're going to move the download stuff through to on completed, because the trigger is actually going to call it on completed. Push that into there. And let's test this, because you know, I think making too many more changes than that would probably be slightly foolhardy. It did finally come in. So then, essentially, it looks like that's built. Looks like we've still got the game up and running. That might have been why it didn't like us building, because we're actually still networking the game. Oh, that's really weird. I haven't seen the connection for that stay live like that. But what I'm hoping is, failed to find object. Yeah, so that hasn't built properly. So let's hit stop and let's try doing that again. Build level. This, yeah, it does take a moment. So if you're going to do this, it's often worth changing a bunch of mission objects all at once to whatever they're going to be, setting up all of your triggers, maybe change the lighting, do a few tweaks with the geometry, and then build level, because it's not going to take any more time or any less time based on how many changes you've made. There you go. So that's done. Let it compile, which takes a moment as well. And this time, when we hit networking, it all being well, should actually drop us into it. So, basically now we've set up this trigger. What we'll do is we'll go complete these objectives. Yeah.
Hello.
Hey,
Joe, you
Skip
want to
through
give
this and
us
go
a
load noise.
da.
What?
You hear me, and
There's a
I
load of
hear
this
you,
sort of
but I'm not the
temporary
only one
audio
listening,
that I should
Joe.
probably
You can
just
sit
have
at home
commented
and
out
do
this
like
trigger.
absolutely nothing, and your name goes through like
You can hear a
17
few references
computers
to
a day.
the movie Hackers there.
1984. Yeah, right, man. That's a typo. Orwell is
Orwell
here
is here
now.
now.
P. FYI. Alright, man. I've got root in your box. There's no place like 127.0.0.1. Which means
So the
devs
idea is we'll have a
probably
load of
set
lights
up shop
flashing
in here too.
as this sequence is going on, and it's kind of obvious that someone is messing.
What are you doing,
remotely
Joe?
with everything.
Jan! I'll sort this out!
That's some temp audio where the secretary in the level calls over, "What are you up to?" And he's like, "Oh, yeah, don't worry." Instead of saying Jen, I'll sort this out. That's from the intro. And there's our place for root this device. So we collect the package so
You
that we
would like
can.
connect your phone to this machine. We are going to flash it.
We connect to the device.
You cheeky scrub lord. I will wipe you from the internet.
One of Jake's lines. Put on your rain boots. The packets are coming. And so the idea there is it should then give you your other apps, which it doesn't launch straight away, so we're going to have to set these up to do so, but it gives us this ghost app for now. That's one of my next things to change. So next you'd be told, oh yeah, let's install Cryptchat for you. Installing Cryptchat. We're not actually getting all of the notifications I wanted come up. For some reason the download one up in the right hand corner isn't working. But there you go, there's no game errors, and technically that would have us install Cryptchat. So then what we're going to do next is we would schedule a conversation in. So we're going to do this in kind of fairly speedrun fashion, because I realise we're kind of ticking on with this stuff. But if we then switch back over to the level, I think what we're going to do is we're going to jump over here to the... There it is, there's the mission script. So we've got our installing Cryptchat. We're going to use the scheduler to then 10 seconds later schedule Cryptchat opening up. We might even, we might schedule it so that Smedley sends you his PGP key, maybe. Although if we've got something going wrong with the downloads up in the right hand corner, then that might not work immediately. Let's put in a comment for to do send Smedley's PGP, PFP, PDP key to player here. So, do we remember how the scheduler works? If not, I will bring API. Oh no, it's not on it anyway. Alright, let's leave that for now. I think it is. Yeah, there you go. Call in sex, scheduler, call in seconds, whatever function we're going to call. So we'll have to define the function. You can nest the function in there, so our function can just say function end, and then we just put the behavior in the middle of it. So time in seconds. What do we say? 10, maybe 11. Give it a second after that installing Cryptchat thing has been on, and we're gonna try launching conversation in here. But how do we do that? So this is probably somewhere that I should check how we do it as well, because I can never remember most of these things off the top of my head. Not really expected to. That's the whole point of the Lua API being here and documented for you as well. So, conversations Lua API, and there's a bunch of fun stuff that we can do this. So on completion of the conversation, there's a callback there that you can launch another conversation through, but essentially we're just gonna go and drop, and let's. So if you don't write code usually, and this is all new to you, one of the important things in programming is checking what's going on with just little print logs here and there. So we're going to print conversation should have started. Now, I don't think you have to have the callback in there. I think we can just put the path of the conversation in, and the path of the conversation is relative to your mission script. So I tell you what, the easiest way of checking this would be, well, no, let's do a bit of trial and error. That's always fun. Notes must be in mission folder conversations path. That's actually changed. That needs to be in mission folder content conversations. and the path is actually just the file name. So I might be sort of talking gobbledygook to you here. Let me shed some light on that. We go back to the build tab and we hit open level folder, and that shows you the root of workplace, and we're going to workplace content. Oh, conversations. Oh, maybe I just don't have a conversations folder in here. I think it's supposed to be in here. Oh, this might be interesting. Wonder where it is. Should we? Let's check. Let's check in the game. So, one of the marvelous things that you can do with your copy of the Steam game is you can just tweak that if you're not interested in modding your own level or whatever else. Go to where the local files are, browse them. That's off-grid data there, streaming assets, and this shows you the structure that we're working on for our mod. So levels, newspaper office, conversations is next to content, interestingly. No, it's not. That's oh, that is. Oh. It's 2 conversations folders. That's wrong. But it's working currently. So what we're going to do is we're going to try it in content. Newspaper content, conversations, and we're going to make our own conversation file. So how do we do that, you say? Well, we were just here, weren't we? Adding the conversations folder to the workplace level, and we're going to create a new file. We can do it here, or we can do it in the Lua editor. It doesn't really matter. We're going to call it it's the first conversation with Smedley, so maybe we'll call it well, we'll call it Intro to Cryptchat Conversation, because that kind of then gears well with our objective name. And take the TXT off and name it Lua. Oh jeez. Come on, hands. Yes, that's fine. I do want to change it. Thank you very much. So now in our project, there's our little file for a conversation. As reference though, we might want to go and find someone else's conversation that's already been had. So an example, let's pull Steam up again and get the game up and dig into the game's existing files. So browse local files, off-grid data. Streaming assets. Newspaper office. Conversations. Alley conversation. That's quite a long one. Let's have the rubber ducky conversation. Right, and so essentially we'll just rip all of this to start with. Oh no, let's go through it line by line. Let's drop this to the side here so you can see it comparatively. So send data. Oh, I know. Let's see whether this works. Send data makes it send a data point, which you can then have to delete or whatever else. That's true. But he hasn't given you his PGP key yet, has he? So maybe I'm getting too clever. Come on, don't autocomplete like that. There. Encrypted. So you can set it to being an encrypted data point or not. Let's say false because he hasn't sent his PGP key to you yet. So you have to name the characters that are going to be in this conversation. Set up a Lua table for that. Joe, obviously, that's us. Lua tables require a comma to separate between the entries. They're kind of like, it's kind of like an array, but it's kind of not. Someone better at Lua can teach you Lua. I'm not the right person to go into detail on it for you, but you'll find it fairly easy to get to grips with. So there's our character table. Begin is the first function you need in your conversation script. Function. End, obviously, to end it. And this is pretty simple stuff now. It's quite fun. So function send. And we then have to put in a table inside the send function for the name of the character. So Smedley. And then the string that it's going to pass. Okay, Cryptchat is installed. And then we might want another line. Says, let me send you my public key. And so, in adding adding that into the conversation, the last thing that you add is send response, and send response is always going to be from the player. Send response, and you know you could do. Yeah, you could do multiple answers. So let's do that. And they have various functions, so we would have what's a public key, and that would then trigger another function called what? Or we could have the answer, okay, sure, for players who already know what a public key is, and that would be followed by the function sure. I've done something wrong there because I haven't actually put that into its own entry. Like that. And that looks correct to me. Now, I tend to like giving a little bit of space between functions and the table entries because it just makes it all a bit more visible. So what's it? Okay, what? Okay, sure. End. Right, so then we write our next functions for those two. Jesus. So, what the answer would be. Oh, well, that's a long answer, isn't it? What is asymmetric encryption? So instead, what function? I'm gonna say Medley's probably going to say something like, how long do you got? And you know, if you really wanted to break this out into an interesting kind of description of how to use asymmetric encryption for the player, you could go into like splitting this into another branch, and what we're doing is we're essentially writing a branching conversation here, which is kind of fun and kind of interesting stuff, really. So yeah, we'll hit send response, and that's coming from Joe, and what we might want to have, I got time. That needs to be followed by the function long, or you might say, give me the cliff notes. And that would be followed by the function short. So before, and this can happen when you're writing branching conversations, before we get too carried away, you got to remember that we've got to finish with this sure function as well, in case someone answers along those lines. So let's make sure that's there. Function. And there's lots of stuff that you can, like, basically this conversation is its own Lua script. You could call anything from the API based on how someone responds, how a player responds to the questions that you're giving them to answer. So I don't know, like you could set up something more persistent, like a mood of the character you're talking to with a variable that counts, you know, like grumpiness, and every time a certain response is given, it makes the character grumpier, and that might affect what kinds of responses you might put in. Some if checks, like if Smedley equals grumpy equals greater than 5, then this answer, else this answer, and so you know you can go into whatever level of interesting detail you want for creating some quite extensively complex conversations. Now, whether you want to or not is down to you. But the power is there for it. So sure would be send on its way. Will ping you securely when you have it. And we need to then have end. Whoops, no, we're not editing that. And we're not going to have multiple other bits and pieces. Sure is going to be our final. Let's keep to convention. Let's write this up as finish, in fact, and then sure can be finished there. And that means that we can use the answer sure elsewhere if we want to. Oh, you know what we haven't done is said that that's from Smedley, because you can have multiple people in a conversation. This app is meant to be kind of Signal-like or WhatsApp-like, if you will. So you might have multiple participants, and you need to say who is speaking each time. Other than the player. So that's that. Stick to that convention. End. Finish. Yep, that's fine. So we now need a function for long, for the long answer, and one for short as well. So, what's the short answer to a question about public keys? I guess the answer would be something like it's the thing what would we say? It's the thing that allows you to know it's me speaking and stops anyone else reading a conversation between us. Oh, come on. Yeah, and we might break that up into 2 lines. In Atom, Control-Shift-D is really nice. It means that you can keep something else in the paste buffer. There you go. And we would send the response. Okay. Okay. Sure. Send it, I guess. Okay, sure, send it, I guess. And that would then trigger finish. Though that needs to be in curly braces. And then we need the long version of this, so let's just cheat and copy this over. Right. Well. Most E to E encryption works with principle called keypads. I'm not gonna make you sit through me writing a lecture up on asymmetric keys, but a principle. We both Cryptchat generates a key pair for us each. One private. And then, you know, we might choose to put in a different response, but this is going to just call finish. You know, imagine we've got more of a conversation we wanted to add here. We just add line after line after line, or you might continue adding. You might make long 1, long 2, long 3, long 4, and I would probably recommend that. I think like there's a games writer I know called Greg Buchanan who wrote the latest No Man's Sky major storyline, and he gave a talk while we were both at Dev Camp Portugal, which is like a Portuguese games conference for developers. And he said you should only have 3 lines of dialogue before you give the players some kind of action. So here we have the start of describing a long version of what a private key is. You might have long one, and the send response is okay. So what's the private and the public? And then your other response might be, I've changed my mind. Yeah, sure, just send it. I don't need to know. And then you could allow someone to drop out of it there, or continue on to long 2, etc., etc. So anyway, we hit save. We go back to our workplace objective, and we should be able to take that's the path for it, but I think all being well, we go to install. The conversation should start here. I think literally it should just be the string for the name of that script. And so here we could put in a callback, and that callback needs to be a function. We might want that function to be another UI notification. So let's do that. Let's make a UI notification for once you complete that. Smedley sending the key. Let's see. It might not work within a scheduler, but we'll see. Public key downloaded. Added to keychain. Let's do that. And you might find that I remove all this from the game, because maybe this is actually a little bit much. 4 seconds. Right, we're going to put that inside a function of its own. That function. I'm not sure if you can pull a function in a function, but we're going to find out. That function is going to be called added to keychain. Tab that in so it's nice and neat. And then we just pass the function into here, and that should be what it does on that callback. I can't promise you that, but it should be. Hit save and we'll find out, won't we? So that install Cryptchat objective should just actually be called when we walk into that collider, I think. Into the install Cryptchat. Yeah, so we can just turn to the right, and hopefully that will work. What does it when it completes that objective. Yeah, it does all these bits. Oh man, there's some typos. Oh dear. Cryptchat. Hopefully they're not in anywhere crucial. Just realised that there's an autocomplete for something that says Cryptchat instead of Cryptchat, so we might find that things are broken, but we might not. So, for the game, go back to networking. Hit stop. Hit start. Might see a lure error come up here, might not, as it loads. Seems to be okay. So, hopefully as we walk through here, system installing Cryptchat. And it will wait till the 10 seconds have done with that, and then it's going to send us, hopefully, a message from Smedley. Bollocks. Right, okay. Failed to find conversation. Right, okay, so this expects it in the root. So, what we're going to do, I might change that in the code for where it expects it to be. But for now, we're just going to add the rest of the path in there. So we just, it's not just in the root there, it's actually in not that one. Is that where I got to stuff? Here, build, open another folder, content, workplace, /content, /conversations. Yep. And that might want to be a /, but right. Hopefully that works. If it doesn't, because I can't actually remember exactly how you get these paths working properly as strings, how it converts the types. But if it doesn't, then we just drop it in the root of that folder for now. So we've saved. We go back to here. We hit networking. We hit start. Goes to the game. What? Stop working now. There you go. Doing it. Failed remission. Object name intercom. What? given up on me. Indexing null value 551. Right. 150. There's nothing here though. That's this freaking object. 51. I will bet it is. Yeah. Well, that is, I bet you there is an object called intercom lobby, but let's just double check that I haven't mucked something up by mistake. Doesn't say anything more here. Build. Computer tower. Yeah, okay. There's a lure error somewhere that it doesn't like. Oops. I bet you it's this. Alright, I'm gonna, rather, because it didn't do that a moment ago, I think we can somewhat safely expect that it's something to do with it not liking the path that I'm passing to it. So instead of doing this, we're just going to drop this file where it expects it, which is in the folder before content. So X workplace B, and let's see what that does now. Let's stop actually. Yeah. Let's start now. And let's load this in, but it's done something wrong. Might be starting to get a little tired. There we go. Do it again. I have had this happen. You have to restart. Changing the scene. I think I probably got to just close the game and open it again. So hit Steam. I'm going to go launch this again. Hit play. Let's see whether this works now. Oh, not me. It's definitely getting close to bedtime. It's nearly midnight. I'll turn into pumpkin in a minute. In 4 minutes. Right, search for game. Start. Yeah, this looks like it's working. Right, and so now, moment of truth. Installing Cryptchat for us. Oh, where does it want it? Okay, there's an error in the actual script. Line 26, expected near end. Let's have a look. But we're getting there. Oh, I haven't saved the file for a start. 26 near end. It might just be. Might be, but I haven't. Yeah. The best thing to do here probably is just try again with the file having been saved. I'm fiddling around with anything yet. Let's see. We could reduce this from 10 seconds because for the sake of demoing this, it probably only needs to be a few seconds, doesn't it? No, there is an error near line 26. Okay. End. That's closed off properly. That's closed off properly. That's closed off properly. You can definitely send answers that long equals, and it doesn't equal function, that's what it is. There we go. So hopefully that works. Start this. Right. Oh, yeah, I should have changed. Yeah, let's change that quickly. Oh, let's not, because we'll miss what we're doing. So, oh, bugger. Okay. That's the only problem. Right, well, while I remember, we're going to change this over from being a 10-second thing to a 5-second thing. Line 26 still. Oh, none of these have Smedley in them. None of them do. Right, well that'll be part of it. Or it might be. Might not be, but that's definitely wrong anyway. So Smedley has to say that. Now another nice thing, multiple cursors. Control and click, and that'll give you multiple cursors. Need another one there. Yeah, that's correct. Finish. Long, short. Let's try that. Might be that. If you look over here, actually, that's potentially, if you've got a send response that only has one function being passed into it, one answer, you just want it to give you the function after the fact. We'll try this first. Fuck's sake. Alright, maybe not. Let's try it this way. Let's just take finish function. Its own function, and we'll do the same. No, that's just, it'll be the same problem here, but if we see the errors on line 32 on the next one, then we'll know. Whoa. Still on 26. Alright. I'll have to load it because of that. Yeah. I don't know. This it's going to be something stupid, but let's do this again. It doesn't look like there's anything wrong with that at all. That's where the typo is. Cryptchat. Begin. There's nothing missing in this. Josh says long function. Oh, you spotted the error earlier. Yeah. Well done. Well, what about this one now, Smarty Pants? Hey? Hopefully you're still there. I'm just just going to try running it in case I hadn't pressed I'm confused. Hmm. I don't see anything wrong with this. Oh, hang on, say line 26 again now, even though I moved that to 20. 27 end now. Oh, hang. No. No, should be fine. It just doesn't like function. No, it must be fine. Hmm. Well, doesn't look like there's much to debug there. I really can't see what I would have gotten wrong. It doesn't like something here. Alright, well let's cheat a bit. Let's just comment all of these out. And let's do that. We'll comment this out. We'll make this only say, okay, sure. Finish. Let's see if that'll work, because if that doesn't, then there's something wrong with the finish function, but I can't see that myself. Still at line 26. It's doing something wrong here then. There's no line 26 for it to read at that point. That's not the code. It's certainly not reading anything here for line 26. Alright, let's leave that comment there as it is. I think we might need to close the game window again, open it up again. It's weird, it's like it's sort of cached a version of the Lua script or something and isn't reading the updates. Right. See whether this is any different. That'd be interesting if it is. It's a new kind of weird behaviour to have observed. You can't be reading line 20. That's weird. I mean, like, what would happen if I just hit Control X and delete it? So there's no line 26. Oh no. Yeah. Josh has just pointed out exactly what's going on. It's that because I've had this open in here, we've been making changes in the wrong version of this. Well, not the wrong version, but we've been making changes in this copy of the script that's in this conversations folder, and actually there's this one down here that's wrong. So what we're going to do is, oh, Atom, why can't you just keep track of where the file has moved to instead of creating a new one? Well, it's an easy fix. Well, Well spotted, Josh, because that was going to send me mad. Oops. Right, what we're going to do, we're going to delete this quickly. And then move this to here. And that should mean it doesn't make a duplicate because it's actually moved within Atom. Ah, what a pain. But luckily this is game dev, #GameDev, and this is what you're here to learn about, and this kind of painful rubbish does happen. Josh just saying he had the same thing happen to him. Look at that interesting parallaxy feel if you move the window around. Sorry. So now this should open up a conversation. Hey! Okay, Cryptchat is installed. Let me send you my public key. What's a public key? Smedley Butler is typing. How long do you got? Give me the cliff notes. Smedley Butler is typing. It's the thing that allows you to know it's me speaking. Oh, that's the short version, and stops anyone else reading the conversation between us. Okay, sure, send it then, I guess. On its way, will ping you securely when you have it. Leave chat. Public key added to keychain. Bada boom, bada bing. And that is the perfect place to leave this stream. Essentially, what have we gone through? We have gone through how to set up a set of mission objectives and triggers that allow you to pull up modals, trigger, well, kind of anything from the API, but we also looked at triggering notifications, and then we looked at triggering conversations and how to set up and write a conversation. So modals, UI notifications, and conversations, that's some pretty good ground to have covered, and that's going to make a big difference to the mods that you make. Yeah, and remember, you can have this thing called a callback, which is what function gets called at the end of your conversation. So that then you know, it can do kinds of funny, fancy behaviour. It can complete an objective based on a conversation. You know, all kinds of stuff. So that's there for you as well. I hope you've enjoyed the stream. This has been a heck of a long one, partly because of me kind of finding out that I hadn't set up, between us, Obscure Moth and I hadn't set up the stream properly. Not the stream, what am I talking about? We hadn't set up the Discord server properly, and we hadn't at everyone going on. Hopefully that's all set up now, and then on top of that, you know, it's been quite an in-depth stream, so plenty for you in here. I will make sure that I get this up onto YouTube for you. Oh, actually, no, this should be being streamed to YouTube, so there should be a permanent version on YouTube after the fact. Yeah, thanks for tuning in. It's been fun. I hope that you've enjoyed it, and I will look forward to catching you on the next stream. Make sure to like and subscribe. Find us on Reddit, Twitter, Instagram, Google Plus, even for as long as that still lasts. That's probably going to be gone pretty soon. We're here on Twitch, we're on Facebook, we're on YouTube. If you search at offgridthegame.com, sorry, if you search at offgridthegame on most things, you'll find a sort of r/offgridthegame. That's where you find us. And remember, wishlist on Steam. Like, it's really important for us to get those wish lists. It basically it gives us an indication of how many people are interested in the game, and lets us know that our marketing efforts are working. It also shows me that new people have picked up and are watching the stream and are interested in it. So you know, please do wish list, because then I can go, oh yeah, the stream helped bump things up. I hope that you feel that you've learned something. I hope that you're gonna go and make a mod now. If you're in first access, you know, like I said, getting your head around the modding now is the perfect time, because it'll give you a head start when we're doing more and more of these modding competitions. You're going to be ahead of the game for being in with a chance to win off-grid swag, or even more interesting swag, if there could possibly be more interesting swag than off-grid swag. So yeah, do that, because you know there's only going to be more and more people around in Discord, in modding channels, making things, and if you start now, then you're going to have a head start on them, making your mods and hopefully winning some prizes. Great. Thanks again. I'll see you same sort of time next week, sort of 9 to 9:30 start, and I'll try and keep it from being a 3-hour stream. Is that really how long we've been streaming for? That's intense. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Remember, you can replay this and skip through to the interesting bits. I'll look forward to seeing you at the next stream next week. Join the Discord and chat to us in there. Good night.